Nerds, we are talking about the Barbie movie. We're going to review it starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Soul Show. I am Nathan.
And I'm Colin.
Hey, so we went to critics' viewings of this movie yesterday. Typically, we do a full cut of these reviews, but I am in the middle. I'm our main editor right now, and I'm in the middle of running our summer program for my nonprofit. As I mentioned in previous videos, still doing fundraisers for that, by the way. So if you want to help us out, there's put the link down below. So I won't have time to edit this. So we're doing a rough cut live stream of our thoughts about the movie. Um, the spoiler free log line provided to me by Warner Brothers months ago goes on for pages. So I'm just going to read the first sentence. Which says to live in Barbie Land is to be a perfect being in a perfect place, unless you have a full on existential crisis
Mm.
or you're a Ken. So, Colin, what did you think of this movie? You actually, I mean, you went to a critics viewing up in Boston. I went to a critics viewing here in DC, and I think we both sort of experienced the same thing. Where it was a critics
Mhm.
viewing, but they also had some people who were just full on Barbie fans, and it's like a lot of people in Bink when I
Oh
went. Yeah,
yes.
so
Oh yes. Oh yes. Definitely. So yeah, I did go to the screening up in Boston, and I was pleasantly surprised about this movie. I think that um, you kind of knew that it was going to be this way in some ways because if you've seen Greta Gerwig's work, she has a style.
mhm.
She has a sense of so she has a style with her. So
Yeah, I think I had. I mean, I had an interesting experience with the movie because, as I said, I'm running my summer program of my nonprofit right now, so I'm usually exhausted at the end of the day, as I am today. And they started the movie like a half an hour late, and I
mm,
was a little impatient at the beginning of this movie. Because a lot of the stuff that happens at the beginning of the movie is in the marketing
hmm
material. So if
yeah.
you've seen any of the trailers, the main trailer um, with the what call it the main trailer with the little girls and all the other things that
Mhm.
you've seen. A lot of that stuff happens in the beginning. So it's like I've seen this already, and I was a little
hmm
impatient. I was a little tired. Not at all for like a minute or so at a certain point, but I have to say that my experience with this was actually pretty good. Like I
Mm.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit on multiple levels.
Yeah.
I think that if you're thinking of this being more of a child's movie, it's not a child's movie. It's more of an adult movie, and it's
hmm
talking about things
Yeah.
like feminism and and the patriarchy and stuff like that.
hmm hmm
However, I do think that it's an adult movie that speaks to people who don't like Barbies for various reasons, and also, like the advertising says, the people that love Barbies as well, because they have a lot of there's a lot of Barbie references, like deep cut, like
hmm
I'm assuming a lot of the things like went over my head, but I can see someone who was like a diehard Barbie fan who's like, oh, they mentioned that dog is like a limit,
Yeah.
it was like a limited release, whatever. It's like, yeah,
hmm
they pretty much had so many different Barbie dolls and references to all the things. It was it, I like I said, it wasn't like engineered for me, but I can see and I can appreciate that it was engineered for someone, because I've seen movies like that are engineered for me, that get all the references for comic books and things like that, and I appreciate
hmm
like and they had all those deep cut references, and even
hmm
though you don't, even if they're not for you, you can appreciate the care that they took um with the Barbie fans. Like
hmm
they definitely challenge the image of Barbie and the role of Barbie in society, but they also
Right.
they do it with love, because
Yes.
they like I said, they spend a lot of time building this world, and the world looks really beautiful. Um,
Hmm.
Barbie Land world that they imagine here looks really beautiful. And I actually did not get sick of pink. They just had so many different uh, um, 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 shades of pink, and it just looked. And also, they don't all wear pink all the time either, so that also helps. But yeah, it's the movie. I think is working on multiple levels. I mean, if we can go through, I guess we can go a
Hmm.
little bit on the through the cast here. So, uh, so let's start with
Ryan Gosling.
actually
Oh, let's start with Margot Robbie first. Yeah,
Start with
yeah, yeah.
Marco Robbie as the Barbie, or or as the stereotypical Barbie, and there is Ryan Gosling, who was very funny in this movie. He was the he was Barbie's Ken. And then, so I'm not going to go through the entire cast, but he does an excellent job in this, and he's funny. He's funny pretty
Yeah.
much all throughout the movie. And he has a little bit of a journey as well, a little bit of an arc as well. He's also sweet in points as well. So you kind of get a sense of his point of view.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes, absolutely.
so America Ferrera is in this movie.
Oh, she was great.
She
I
was
really liked
she
her.
was great.
Uh,
She
yeah.
has at a certain point a speech that
Mm.
I choked up about. I'm not sure if that is what you're talking about, that you didn't like, but like I
No, no, I actually liked that speech. I
okay,
actually liked it. I actually felt that she encapsulates a lot of because she's a millennial. Like,
right,
she's playing a millennial right now, and it's kind of
millennial
like
mom, yeah, a millennial mom with a
yeah,
teenage
millennial mom.
a
Exactly.
tween daughter, yeah, yeah,
Exactly, and she goes through her journey as well, and it was very well encapsulated
yeah,
and I related to her journey quite a bit. Not the parenting part, not
yeah,
the part of the tween mom part, but definitely felt a lot of what she was articulating. Let's
yeah,
just say,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
her daughter, who I mean, starts off annoying, but she's fine by the end of the movie. Um,
Typical Gen Z
yeah, yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Simu Liu, who was pretty funny in the movie, playing off Ryan Gosling in
Yeah.
various at various points in the movie.
His dance moves
Yeah,
were really on key.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
very, 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 very shocked at that. Like
But
he was really good
I
at it.
guess it doesn't necessarily. It's not that far off from like choreography for like martial arts though. So yeah, it's
Sure,
yeah. So
sure.
yeah. Um, Kate McKinnon, she
Oh,
of
yeah, she
course
was
was
funny.
very funny in this movie.
Hmm.
Michael Cera, he has this weird. He plays Alan in this movie, and it's such a weird. It's such a weird part, and he does it very very well.
We all wonder what happened to him, and
Yeah,
it's like he
yeah,
just shows up in this movie. It's like what
yeah,
you were in those like early 2000s movies, Scott Pilgrim
yeah,
and Juno, and like oh you're here. Oh,
yeah.
like I said, pleasantly surprised. Like
He gets
where
a
have you been?
he gets a I mean, there's so many people in this movie, so not everyone gets a lot of time to shine, but they do give him a little bit of a spotlight near the end of the movie, and it's pretty funny. Um, and then we have like the rest of the Kens in the Barbie. So like
Yeah.
Kingsley Ben-Adir, who is pretty much in everything nowadays. He's in a
Yes.
Secret Invasion right now. He just now get he
Hmm.
I just saw an advertisement for him being playing Bob Marley.
Oh yeah.
If you may have caught, I mean, if you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, we did a review of One Night in Miami, and he
Hmm.
played um, I forget,
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Yeah. So
And he also was Obama in another
yeah,
like a TV movie or something streaming movie.
yeah,
He was Obama as well.
yeah,
So yeah, he's on the rise.
yeah,
But
definitely.
he definitely, if you are seeing Secret Invasion right now,
Complete,
very different from what he's doing right now.
completely different character.
So a lot of range to
Completely different
see.
character.
Yeah.
Um, and Will Ferrell is in this as well. I don't know if they use him that much. The whole president thing that he plays, or CEO thing that he plays is a little weird. They're I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's not, it's not necessarily my least favorite. Well, I think it's the part that they probably could have cut out of the movie. Really,
Yeah,
honestly.
they probably, yeah, I agree.
So
I totally agree. They really didn't need
I
him.
mean,
I mean, if they
I
just
like
said
seeing
it,
Will
yeah,
Ferrell, but I don't know that they had. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Shuti Gatwa, which who is from Sex Education, but also going to be the new Doctor Who. He's
Oh.
yeah, he's going to be the new Doctor Who, and Hernef plays another Barbie as well. I think there's
Mm.
other people in here like I said, the several page description that I have here has so many people in here, like Alexander Shipp,
Yeah.
who played Storm.
Storm. Yeah.
There are a lot of people in here, and you know what? I forgot to
We
pull.
had Dua
I
Lipa
forgot
as well as the
I forgot to
Dua
pull
Lipa, and then also
Issa Rae.
who was there? Issa
I
Rae.
forgot to
Yeah.
pull Issa Rae. She would have been one of the people that I pulled, and I think when I was looking on the Warner Brothers press site, I didn't see her image.
Hmm.
She would have definitely. She probably would have been closer to the top after America for. So yeah, she does a good job as well. But because they have so many Barbies and so many Kens, there's just a lot of people in here. This movie is Margot Robbie's, though. She gets the most screen time. But there's
Yes.
a lot of like supporting characters that get to be Barbies and get to be Kens, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's funny, in lots of different ways. Like I said, I think it didn't need to be 2 hours. I think they could have cut some of the CEO stuff to cut that down. Um, uh, yeah, and but I appreciated the messaging. I cried in
Hmm.
several places. Cried at the
Yeah.
very end. Cried during America's speech.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Yeah. Do you want to talk about what the issue they also like before you get to that, what I was going to say is that they
Yeah.
also talk about the patriarchy and they make fun of the patriarchy, and I was going to, like, I wouldn't care if they decided to bash men. Like lots of movies,
Hmm.
lots of movies unapologetically bash women and never come back
Hmm.
around. So they make fun of men in in certain ways, in some of the goofy things that men do. And
Sure.
if they left it there, then it would have been fine. And it was like, okay,
Hmm.
okay, everyone, if you can take a joke, everyone gets to be the butt of the joke. But
Yeah.
they actually come around and speak about men, about like manhood a little bit, through the Gosling Ken as
Hmm.
well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I appreciate it they didn't just make the men stuff or the patriarchy stuff, or the insipid man things that some men do, the joke, and then
Hmm.
just leave it. They
Right.
actually talked about a little bit about identity and what it is to be a
Hmm.
man, and what those trappings are, what those signifiers are, a little bit at the very
Right.
end. So I appreciated that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that missed the mark was it's not related to that. I actually did appreciate that, and I know that it's written by Greta Gerwig and also
Mm-hmm.
Noah Baumbach, who did Marriage Story, and I love Marriage Story. I
Yeah.
actually thought that was a great film to explore, marriage and also divorce as well, between a husband and wife. But at the same time, I think that what I think missed the mark was that I think that it did kind of like make them kind of separate, like you can be independent, and that's fine, that's okay, like men and women can be independent, they can have lives, um they can have different tastes and things like that. But I think that what really truly missed the mark was that the part that you'd still need each other to exist in this world. And then that was the one thing that I think that if they'd really just kind of said, yeah, you can be independent, you can live your own life, that's fine. But if that was kind of like honed in some way, closed it out a little bit, I
Yeah.
think that would have been like chef's kiss in my mind.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but I don't know that they didn't. I don't. I can see if they could have hit that harder, but
Hmm. Yeah.
not all male female female relationships are going to be that like that, or man woman relationships are going to be like that.
Right.
There,
Right.
I think that
But that's why I said. But
there
that's why I
was.
said people. I didn't necessarily think of it from a standpoint of a heterosexual relationship. It was
Right.
more like people need each other.
Oh, you mean
You know.
men and women in general in society mean? Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that they make
Exactly.
that. I think they make that point. I mean,
Mhm.
so like saying how they made that point is going to be a spoiler. But I thought you were talking about like coupling together, and I think that
No, 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 no,
the
no. I think that that's fine. That's perfectly fine. The way that they kind of portrayed that, I'm fine with that.
yeah.
I'm all fine with that. But that was the only thing that when I was leaving the theater, I was just thinking to myself, that is, if they just made that as a bigger, as a larger point, that we as a society need each other. I think that would have been, I think, a better closer for me.
I think
But anyways,
I mean
but
we can talk about it offline because like I said I don't want to spoil the
uh,
movie. It's the 19th when we're streaming this or we're recording this. It just debuted internationally today and it's not coming out until Friday. But like I
mhm.
think that this almost is like a setup for a Ken movie. So like I think there are seeds there saying like I think if this does well, they will probably make a Ken movie, and I think that they have seeds there of saying what their role is in
Mhm.
Barbie Land. Because like the whole joke for a lot of the movie and all the advertisements are I'm Barbie with who's a physicist. I'm Barbie who's a president, and then
Mhm.
Gosling is like I'm just Ken, and
Right.
and Simu Liu is like, I'm just also just Ken. But so I think that they have. I think there's an arc there, without like
Mm,
giving things away. But we can talk about it offline. But yeah,
sure.
so how would you rate this movie?
Wow. This I was really, because I was so pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And so like really into it. I think there was a wonderful actual fourth wall break that I laughed out
That was
loud. I'm not
hilarious. Yeah, yeah.
I was not. That's probably one of the best ones ever that I've ever experienced in my life. Um, I would have to give it a 9 for now. Road Trip, because of the thing that it did, the whole thing about missing the mark a little bit. That kind of brought it down from a 10 to me, so it went down to a 9.
Nine is a
Road Trip,
movie marathon.
trip. Oh, movie marathon
Yeah,
or road trip? Okay, movie marathon.
movie marathon. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely a 9.
10 is a theater rental. So all right. So I I think that I I definitely like this movie quite a bit. I don't know if I can give it a 9 though. I think I will say you should probably go to the theater. I think if it
I
was
think you
like
should see it.
if it was like engineered specifically for me, I think there are people that are going to give this a 9 or a 10 because like I said, I appreciated the care that she
Right.
took with the production design, with the like deep dive into like Barbie's, I don't know, 40-50 year past, but that
Hmm.
isn't necessarily for me. But the things that
Hmm.
are for that I can appreciate, I appreciate it quite a bit. So
Yes.
I would give it an 8. I would give it a road trip. So I mean, and our we I think we've talked about this before in our rating systems. I mean, Hollywood is reeling, and they have to figure out how they're going to make money. But like our rating system is really is based upon our channel was developed after the pandemic, and you have to you kind of have to be push me hard, and I'm not sure about you, Colin, to like have to go to the theater. So like everything else below us below it 8 is like you can probably see it at home at a certain
Right.
really. But I think I mean I think this is something special you could actually go out and see.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely would give it a road trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is something that you should see. I think that being in the theater, having that experience with the crowd, it's definitely worth it. I think that if you just watch it on streaming, eventually it's going to go to digital and
You
to Max.
you definitely should see.
You're going to lose some of that
Yeah,
experience. But so,
it's a crowd movie. Like it definitely try to go to
right.
it. Like I don't know if you're gonna go to a screening like we did where there was just like a bunch of people in pink. I almost want to go back. Like I probably want to go see it again for like the movie, but also just being in a bunch of people in a crowd that is that enthusiastic about a movie that they're dressing up for it. It's almost like a Black Panther movie, not on the same level, but it's sort of like that. People are just like excited because it was part of their childhood, and they want they never thought it was going to be taken seriously, and they do take it really seriously. Like I said, they do
They do.
deep dive
They do.
into the Barbie what you call it, but they also challenge
Yeah.
her role in society as well when they're talking about
Exactly.
patriarchy and feminism and things like that. So yeah, they
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
it's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done really well in terms of the care, like you said, and also I think that it does subvert some things that we're accustomed to, in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for
No,
everybody. There's definitely going to be
no,
some
there's gonna be a lot of loud conservative whatever about this, but whatever.
right, right.
But
But you have to understand that also, they did perfect casting with the two leads. Margot Robbie is,
yeah,
that's who she is,
yes,
and that's how she's been portrayed in a lot of her movies. And Ryan Gosling, that's how he's portrayed in a lot of
yes,
his movies.
yes,
So
yeah,
they did perfectly with the casting. And
yeah.
yeah, but the statements that are being made that might knock it down in some circles, but at the same time, um, I think that for those that are of that particular circle, they still might appreciate it for what it is, but they might not appreciate some of the commentary
I mean,
per
this is a
se.
heavy message movie, which is I don't know
Right.
I don't know if you can, like I said, I don't know if you can really bring this to see. It's a PG-13 movie, and I think 13-year-old girls and boys should see this movie.
I think
I
so too.
don't know
Yes,
if like I
absolutely.
don't know if like 5-year-old girls and boys should. I think some of the things will go over their head.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I it's very colorful though. So like you can take your 5-year-old or your 7-year-old boy or girl. You're just gonna have to explain some things to them after the movie. Um,
Yeah.
so
I think that, right in front of me in the screening there was a family
mhm.
as well that was right in front of me, and I think it was a mother, and I think she took her daughter and also a couple of her friends.
Right.
So there's definitely a crowd like that, but definitely some of the commentary goes over their heads. It's definitely kind of geared toward all ages in some ways, because you do get to see the bright colorful stuff, and
Yeah.
then that's kind
And
of
there's
appealing.
music, and
You know,
there's dance
yeah,
numbers
there's
and
musicals. Yep.
very choreographed dance numbers and stuff like that. So there's
Exactly.
lots to watch. That like it's just when they're talking or analyzing society that's going to go over
Right.
their head. But like
Exactly.
that doesn't last for too long, and there's lots of musical numbers as well to like distract you from that. And some of the musical numbers are not like, they distract you from it, but also like if you listen to the lyrics, they also are sort of also talking about the message as well. But they're like, I was listening to a interview with Greta Gerwig and some of the cast, and
Mhm.
she said she got Dua Lipa to do she likes her music because it's like disco music, and disco music is sort of like that's one of the genres that like is inviting you to dance, but like um she all of her music is like dance music, but the lyrics specifically are sometimes for depressing, so she got her specifically for that. So you're dancing, but you're like, if you listen to it, it's like, wait a minute. So yeah.
Uh,
Not all the music is like that, but some of it is. It's funny. So yeah. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
no, I think that people should go see it. I think that we are now part one of the Barbenheimer,
Yes.
Palooza right now. So I think that people are excited. People are excited about this movie. People are excited about Oppenheimer. So go see it. I think that, and also we are in the middle of the writers and actors strike. You got to go out and support, the actors. We're not talking about the very famous people. We're talking about the ones that are the extras, the ones that are struggling
Yeah.
out there, that are writing, that
Yeah.
are not as well known as Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach. You know, those we have to support those individuals. During this time.
Yeah, and at this point in the writers the strikes, they're not saying to stay away from streaming or their movies. We'll
Hmm.
see whether or not
Exactly.
the studios drag their feet on that, and whether or not at some point they say, make them hurt. but right now they want you to go out to see their movies and stuff. So
Exactly. Yeah.
this is worth your a trip to the movie theater, I think.
Exactly, it's worth it, and yes, we support the writers and the actors as they
Yeah,
go through this time, and
yeah,
just we because this is important, and this is why we do it,
yeah,
because of movies like this, because of the content that they provide, so that we can make content.
yeah,
So we complete support their cause.
yeah. And depending on how long this stretches out, we probably might do a separate stream or something about that. But that is right now what we think about this movie. We want to hear what you guys think, so please comment down below, like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. All right, bye, guys.